The Hijaz region was also experiencing a similar crisis. In society, those with power and authority dictated the rules, while the common people suffered under the oppression of the ruling class. Wealth determined a person's status and respect in society, granting them recognition as human beings. The poor, the downtrodden, and the slaves were not considered equals. The concept of justice was replaced by brute force. Justice existed only to a certain extent for those who held power and authority, often leading to wars and conflicts. From the time of Prophet Adam until that era, the Kaaba, a sacred place of worship common to all prophets, had become overshadowed by idols. In this holiest of places, considered closest to Allah, every form of depravity was committed to distance people from Him. Even the pilgrimage, as established by Prophet Ibrahim and observed until then, had been altered to the extent that people would circumambulate the Kaaba while clapping their hands and in a state of complete nakedness. They believed it was inappropriate to approach the Kaaba in clothing associated with sin. Claiming that finding sinless clothing was difficult, they performed the tawaf around the Kaaba completely unclothed. In the Hijaz region, women were also gravely oppressed. The birth of a daughter was regarded as a lifelong disgrace, a burden of shame too heavy to bear. Unable to endure this perceived dishonor, some would bury their daughters alive with their own hands. Marriage was completely forgotten, and adultery became widespread. Flags were hung at the doors of houses where adultery was openly practiced, openly inviting people to these places. Having children from individuals considered noble was regarded as a great honor. Many people would even arrange for their wives to unite with those deemed noble, hoping to have children by them. Women who were involved with multiple men would decide for themselves who the father of their child was if they became pregnant. When the woman gave birth and declared, "So-and-so is the father," that person was considered the child's father. As promiscuity among women became widespread, people began to consider it appropriate to marry off their daughters at a very young age. In this way, they shifted all responsibility to their sons-in-law. For every father raising a daughter, marrying her off in childhood was seen as the only proper course of action. The widespread spiritual decline across the world and the rampant immorality everywhere highlighted the necessity for a prophet to guide humanity to the right path. People, weary of the ignorance, cruelty, and shamelessness prevailing among them, found their lives filled with doubt and uncertainty. They eagerly awaited the arrival of someone who could nourish their barren souls with the light of faith. In this period, when darkness had reached its peak, the time for the arrival of the final messenger was drawing near. The world, in every sense, was preparing for the coming of Allah's last prophet to mankind,